Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Museum of the Future and to the second day of the Dubai Future Forum 2023. A keynote titled, How Can Policymakers Effectively Meet the Needs of Future Generations? By Her Excellency Ohood Roumi, Minister of State for Government Development and Future. Moderated by Jacob Ellis, UNICEF Youth Foresight Fellow. Start now.
Well, Borada, good morning. Let's energize a little in the discussion today. So, good morning.
Good morning.
That's great news. This is a bit of a fireside chat, so I'm going to get to know you a little bit better first. Please, by raise of hands, if you are in Dubai for the first time. Okay. If this is your first time at the Dubai Futures Forum, hands up. Great, okay. Now I'm going to go through the continents in the hope that I don't forget one of them. My European colleagues, let's see you in the room. Okay. North America? South America? Africa? Welcome, welcome. Asia? Some of you are not raising your hands. You're not playing the game. Oceania. There we go. And dare I ask if anybody is from Antarctica? And after oh, there we go. We had one hand. There we go. And after yesterday's astronauts, I should be asking the question if you are from outer space as well. But we'll leave that possibly for another time. Right, we've got to know you a little bit better. It's now time for us to start this fireside chat with Her Excellency Ohood Roumi. Welcome to the forum. We'll start with an important question. In a world that often prioritizes immediate results, could you share your thoughts on why it's crucial for governments to adopt a future-orientated perspective? And how can this long-term vision be balanced with the pressing demands of the present?
Thank you, Jacob. But firstly, I'm really glad to be here at Dubai Future Forum. And I would like to thank my dear brother, His Excellency Khalfan Belhol, and his wonderful team for their tremendous efforts bringing all of us together. Coming back to your question, I think at the core of governance lies dual responsibility, addressing today's need while shaping tomorrow's path. There will always be immediate needs for the government to address, like the education, health, infrastructure, creating job opportunities. But I think while addressing these needs, we need always to take future into consideration. I think the art lies between creating the balance between those immediate needs and shaping the future. Think of it as like an acrobat, maintaining balance in a tight rope. And I think present is very important because I think the only time that you can create the future is the present moment. This future-oriented thinking or forward thinking is not new. It is embedded in the global heritage. And I think there is a dedicated track within the forum talking about empowering generation that will tell stories and share experiences from around the world. One of them is the Welsh experience, that you are part of it, and it's very inspirational for all of us. But I would like to give an example from our region. So centuries ago, the Arab tribes were not just surviving, they were planning decades ahead. We used to have something called Al-Hima. And Al-Hima is an environmentally protected areas where, for example, the use of water, cutting trees were prohibited, so it were managed in a way to preserve the resources and ensure sustainability. So these practices, ancient practices, were not just about conservation, but also about leaving legacy for the future generations. And this ancient wisdom and the forward-thinking approach developed into modern global commitments. So for example, more than 400 charters, international charters refer to future generations. More than 80 countries, they have references to future generations in their constitutions, or they have bodies, entities to save their interests. We know that earlier this year, the UN has endorsed the 8 common principles for the futures, and also the UN is hosting the Summit on the Future next September, which you are part of it, Jacob.
Yes, and Her Excellency referred to the Wales model, the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act, legislating to put the interests of future generations at the heart of policymaking in Wales. The analogy of the acrobat, I'm trying to think whether or not we've got acrobats in the room. It's a good analogy. Moving to that rich legacy that you have here in the United Arab Emirates of looking ahead, with your ministerial role dedicated to the future, how does this commitment to future generations tie back to the founding principles of the UAE? And in what ways has it shaped the nation's journey?
You know, Jacob, the UAE has always adopted the future-oriented thinking. Our founding fathers always had the interests of future generations in their minds and in their hearts. Back then, we were the future generation, and we are enjoying prosperity now because of what they planted back then. And I would love to share with you a couple of stories that are really dear to my heart. So our founding father, Sheikh Zayed, has a visionary approach to environment. Shortly after the formation of the United Arab Emirates, he embarked on an ambitious journey to green the desert. His aim was then not just to preserve the environment or the resources that we have. His aim was to expand it, grow it for the well-being of future generations. And this journey was thought impossible by many international experts, but he was determined because he understood the importance of green space for the environment, for the people, and for the future generations. And because of him, we have now more than 150 million trees in the UAE. And you know, Jacob, this is very parallel to our battle against climate change. As you know, the UAE will host in a few days, will host the world in COP28. Tackling climate change is just like planting a seed for a tree that we may never enjoy its shade, but definitely our children and our grandchildren will enjoy. And let me share with you another story, and I'll bring you closer to where we are today, to Jebel Ali area. Yesterday, His Excellency Umar al-Ulama mentioned an inspiring story about our founding father, late Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum, building Rashid Port in 1972. I would like to share with you the other part of the story. So in 1976, just 4 years later, he decided that he wanted to build another port in Dubai, which is the Jebel Ali port. This was, for many businessmen, they said they were like against it. They said they didn't see a reason for building another port, like building a port 40 kilometers outside the city center might be adventurous, unnecessary, and might lead to overcapacity and losses. But also he was determined. He said, I'm not building for today. I'm building for the future. Fast forward half a century, the Jebel Ali port stands as the 11th busiest port in the world. And Dubai ports manage more than 90 ports around the world, creating economic value and prosperity for future generations in the UAE and beyond.
It's amazing. And one of the things that stands clear then is to have that vision in the first place, but also to have the commitment to drive towards that vision. And it's really important to have those two aspects. So we've talked about why this is important. We've talked about what has brought us to today. But I'm interested in some of the tangible examples of how the UAE is putting the welfare of future generations at the heart of its policies today. Are there any initiatives or programs you can share with us?
Jacob, we talked about our founding fathers, but we also still have an exemplary leadership that always looks ahead. We enjoy a very good level of prosperity right now. We lead the world in more than 180 indicators. But let me borrow the words of our President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, who said, "We want the coming generation to be even more prosperous than the current one." I would like also to borrow the words that are engraved in the museum here. We don't wait for the future, we create it. These are the words of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. The question, how can we achieve that? How can we create the future now? We are doing it in multiple fronts, and I would like to share with you a couple of them. Firstly, we focus on the long term. We created the Centennial Plan, which is our plan for the next 50 years. And the aim of this plan is to elevate the UAE to be the best country in the world by 2071. This is not just a plan, this is our road for the future. And at the heart of this plan lies the development of our future generations, preparing them for a rapidly changing world. If we turn to our human capital, our population is fairly young. More than 40% are under the age of 30. They represent our present and our future. And it's very important that we bring this future to the table. So empowering youth is very central to our agenda. We have a dedicated ministerial portfolio. We have a national youth strategy. We have numerous youth councils, and we have a strong representation of youth in government bodies and boards. It's very important that we don't just listen to the voices of youth, but we give them the opportunity to shape and influence decisions that will create their future. Education is also very important for us. We want to prepare our youth for jobs that don't even exist yet. We want to nurture future generations and prepare them for the future sectors. Yesterday, we had in the forum a very inspiring session about the space. We are keen to prepare our future generation for space. We have an ambitious program in space, a newly established Space Academy. Also, AI is very important for us. We have a dedicated Minister of AI, we have numerous national programs, and we have even a university for AI, which is Mohammed bin Zayed AI University. It's very important that we prepare them for the future that is rapidly changing.
We could spend all day discussing the various programs that you have here in the UAE. It'll be remiss of me, Her Excellency touched on the importance of youth in designing the future. A bit of a plug, if I may, on behalf of the UNICEF team, we'll be launching later on our UNICEF Youth Foresight Playbook, exactly talking to that importance of putting youth at the heart of foresight and decision-making. So hope to see you in this room a little later on, and a shout out to my fellows in the room. The clock is red. Her Excellency, thank you so much. Please join me in thanking Her Excellency for her time this morning, and best of luck with the rest of the forum. Thank you.